So, as you heard, the recording is in progress. So, Céline, you can start going. So, quickly, just to present myself quickly. So, I've been working on the Climatsup Business projects, as you've heard, and I would like then to introduce this presentation by Céline Del Bucchia, who's a professor in Audencia, professor in marketing, and who is going to present a course she created recently on marketing and ecological issues. So Céline, the ground is yours. You can start this presentation. You have 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll have time for questions.
Okay, thanks very much, Vinciane, for this invitation, for this opportunity to share an initiative I had with some colleagues, with my colleague Michael Roux, who is also professor of marketing at Audencia, and in partnership with Institut du Design de Saint-Malo, and particularly Julien V, who is the president of this institute, who's been very inspiring and gave us the willingness to create this course. And thank you for all of you who are listening. It's very challenging and impressive to share an experience with colleagues who are also excellent experts in the area. So I'm, of course, looking forward to your feedback. We're learning in doing things, and I'm happy to share what my thoughts are today. As professor of marketing, I have a key question, which is what do we contribute to? You know, when we teach marketing, sometimes challenging to think of that. So my question is, how can marketing inspire change? And this is how, you know, the story of this course started. The story of okay, it works now. Okay, the story of this course also started with the presentation of the sheet project Climatsup Business. So I go back to the profession sheet of marketing and the key competencies marketers should have for the future. Adopting a systemic, interdisciplinary and ethical approach. You've commented that, Vinciane. And I'll focus on the first aspect, which is developing a critical mind to envisage a desirable future. Students and even us are really willing to have some images of desirable futures. Our colleagues from Canada, for example, tell us, oh, you, the French, you're always very negative, like, you know, have a very negative view of climate change and frustration and as a punishment. And I think it's not the way we'll progress. Actually, we are not really progressive, except about our knowledge, but not in terms of actions. And I think the desirable future is key, and marketing is powerful to create storytelling. Okay, so all the more as marketing has participated to the storytelling of the 20th century, which is the promise of progress and happiness, thanks to consumer goods. And today we don't really have a good inspiring storytelling for the 23rd century. So yes, thanks the Shift Project for inviting us to think differently, but then the question is, how can we do that, and how can we find inspiration? So I will share with you an initiative in line with these directions. First of all, I will introduce a few thoughts about marketing before I present you more in the course, more into detail. Develop a critical mind is key, and it's all the more as the promise of marketing in the 20th century. If we take the definition of some of the gurus of management in the 20th century, marketing means solving customers' problems profitably So marketing is consumer-centric. Many professors of marketing are also much into consumer research, so we're very into consumer behaviors, consumer centricity, and it's been also one of the key topics of the evolution of marketing in the last decade. However, we've realized now, and you all know that, the externalities, the impacts of marketing, of being perhaps too consumer-centric and creating a crazy stuff like overconsumption, pollution, addiction, which relates to our planet and also to human beings. So it's, I really feel bad as a marketing professor. Good news is that, and you all know that, so I'll not spend too much time, the marketing definition has evolved. The French Association of Marketing and the American Marketing Association now agree on a definition of marketing, which is about creating value, including the stakeholders. So the stakeholders thinking of the impact of marketing on the society is key. So it's an amazing progress, but how I feel is that the reality is that marketing activity hasn't changed a lot for many reasons. When we look at the stakeholders canvas, the traditional one, it's really focused on economic actors, on humans. So we, as marketers, we want to develop business, we want to be consumer-centric, to develop new markets, we want to innovate. And then, the question of sustainability comes very often third. And we develop an eco-friendly packaging, and okay, but it's really at the margin. And we think that now it's time to change the model. And the nature, the earth, is not part of the stakeholders. So to me, it's one of the key issues that we can change, or think of how to change, and put nature at the center. And this is how perhaps to develop storytelling about desirable futures, not talking about business, but also nature. So I'll go back just very quickly to nature and our relationship to nature. Actually, you see two very different pictures of nature here. Perhaps you don't see it, but what has changed over the centuries is our relationship to nature. So in the Greek antiquity, nature is sacred, is poetic, is contemplative, is inspiring. Okay, today nature is a resource for rafting activities, for luxury hotel, and today, as we consider nature as a resource, we do not really make the difference between the wood and the tree, so between life and resources. And this is one of the problems of our society. Whether, just a quiz, how long has Homo sapiens lived on Earth? Do you know that? I don't see the chat. Let's see, okay. Okay, nobody? Okay, so 250,000 years. And how long has life lived on Earth? Actually, it's 10,000 times more. So what does that mean? Well, this means that nature has 3.8 billion years of research and development. So it's much more advanced than we are as Homo sapiens. And this is Céline Benus, who developed biomimicry, innovation inspired by nature. She's an American biologist who questions us about how do we make the act of asking nature's advice a normal part of everyday's inventing. Biomimicry has inspired science Okay, sorry, sometimes. Okay, but not yet our management discipline. So biomimicry has been inspiring for engineers to imagine architecture, to imagine motors, vehicles. Okay. Biomimicry is about innovation which takes into account life principles as guides. Just, I wanted to share with you one life principle. There are 17, just one, I will comment one. Life uses waste as a resource. So there's no waste in nature. You see here on the picture, the leaves on the ground in the forest, actually they're transformed into humus and they feed the soil for participate to the life of the forest. So there's no waste in nature. So when we start questioning what we do in our business and in our consumption activities, and do we respect life principles, it's becoming, challenging. And it's a way also to develop critical thinking. So I told you there are 17, okay? So 17 ways to analyze and to think of what we do, and do we respect those life principles, which are, the basics ways of respecting our planet. So my proposal in this course is how about starting from life principles to reshape our models of consumption and production. So here, then I go back to the SHIFT project. We adopt a systemic interdisciplinary approach we inspired from biology. We not only consumer-centric, but systemic-centric. Who's laughing? And we develop a critical mind to envisage a desirable future. So a critical view of our current consumption dynamics and desirable future. So I don't know what's the timing, but now I share with you more specifically this course, Nature-Inspired Innovation and Marketing, that we've developed with the Institut du Design of Saint-Malo, who are specialized in biomimicry and design. And we're specialized in marketing, and we mixed our competencies to build this course. Okay. The objectives is, well, to raise the question, how to change our taken for granted consumption and business practices towards sustainable practices. So the idea is to invite students to criticize consumption and production based on life principles, innovate using design methods, and asking nature, and I will show you how to ask nature, adopt an ecosystemic approach. So think of the impacts you have on the ecosystem as a marketer, and design nature-inspired markets, offerings, services, or whatever. So this course is a 24-hour course, just to situate. It's part of the Gaia Master 1 program. So the Gaia program is about managing ecological and social transition. So it's one of the Master 1 options for the students of the Programme Grande École at Audencia. And this course is a management course. It's the course of marketing among a program which includes multidisciplinary courses and management courses. And this course is optional. Students have the choice between financing the future, the marketing one, art thinking. So the students we have in this course are quite involved or feel concerned. It's important. The course is organized into lectures, in introduction and as a conclusion, talking about thinking about the limits of marketing, introducing life principles, introducing biomimicry, and the conclusion about what we've learned, and go back to the marketing practices and how to inspire change. And in between, it's really about a project so that students appropriate the concept of biomimicry. So now I'll share with you what the project is about. And this is the example of what we've done last semester. It was the first time we delivered the course last semester. So the mission we proposed to the students, they worked in team, was to identify an object or service whose usage is not optimized. For example, clothing, because of fashion, we need to change. So we spend a lot of money on clothes while they are still up to date. Buildings, some of them are using some part of the time and emptying others. So they are the choice, you know, for any kind of product. The idea is design thinking with divergence and convergence parts. First, students are to identify their topic, the problems, formulate the question, name the problem. So divergence, convergence. But then what is original in the middle is that to answer the solution, they had to ask nature to identify strategies of the living, which could help them solve the problem, and reconstruct a proposal based on the strategies of the living. I will share with you an example. So this is what we propose to the students: identify an object of a service, imagine how to optimize the use of this object of service. Your proposition will be inspired from nature, will respect life principles, adopt an ecosystemic approach, and then they are invited to present their project at a final exhibition. So an exhibition is also something very stimulating, and to be able to show and to share what they've done, not within the class, but rather as professionals. So this is an example of a poster of a group of students whose problematic was how to keep the pleasure of renewing your wardrobe in harmony with life principles. To me, this project is very interesting because when you think of, we are polluting, we're over-consuming, but are we ready to stop consuming? Actually, we're not really ready. And the desire is part of our human aspirations. If we no longer have desires, then it's very sad. So how to have desires but differently, how to have pleasure but differently. This is really the perspective of this course and of this project. Students got, after formulating their problem, asked nature about how to answer the question. And so they went to the website asknature.org, which is like the Wikipedia, but for nature. It's just amazing. And you'll find tons of strategies of the living, biological strategies, based, organized by functions. And they found the hermit crabs who shelter with their shell. And when they grow, when the hermit crabs grow, they need to change their shell. Ils doivent changer leur coquille. So what they do when they find a shell that is allowed, they start to create a line from the smaller hermit crab to the big, from the bigger to the smaller, and they exchange their shell from one another. So that at the end, everyone is able to change their shell and finds the right shell. And it was the inspiration for this project for school students, pupils who grow and who need to renew their wardrobe. The idea is to organize within the school this exchange during a festive event among the pupils, like the Bernard l'Ermite or hermit crabs do. Okay, so other examples will be problems they develop, how to improve the economic, social, and environmental efficiency of school buildings. Here they were inspired by the pond, l'étang, as an ecosystem which is independent, where everyone is an actor. How to make public transport secure for women was another example of a project. And here where they were inspired by the flamingo, les flamants roses, the flamingo, how can they commute? In security, they commute in groups. And so the idea is to create an app where women can travel in groups, identify people who travel with them to feel secure in transport. I just do it very, very quickly. Okay, I'll be able to answer questions. So this course, the motivation of this course was how can marketing inspire change? Because marketing, I'm fascinated by marketing because marketing has the power to create discourses that are influential, that change our behaviors. So with this nature-inspired innovation, we are adopt the multidisciplinary approach, but we also, at the end, able to develop a poetic storytelling about a desirable future. And to be honest, it was not my objective when I developed that course, but I saw, with the storytelling of the students, with also their eyes, their smiles, how good being inspired from nature can be to think of our consumption behaviors differently, and perhaps how promising, perhaps a new storytelling. So I hope so. There are many others, certainly, but this option is promising. And that's all. I've included some references in biomimicry and also some excellent references, including this Marketing Durable book. It is my Bible. And an article from the Journal of Marketing Management about initiatives in teaching critical approach in marketing, very, very inspiring too.
Great, thank you very much, Céline, for this presentation. It's
shall I stop the?
Yes, I think you can stop sharing your screen. And to me, it's very inspiring. I hope it is as well for the professors here. We only have a bit running out of time. We only have, I think, 4 minutes left for questions. Sorry for this. So I think we can take maybe 2 questions in a row. You have the reactions button at the bottom of your screen, with which you can raise your hands virtually. So if you have a question that absolutely needs to be asked, then now is the moment. And I think, can everyone stop their mic, please? So yes, I'm Rani and Charlotte.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, you just for there, so it didn't say to me. You a lot of this. My
I'm sorry,
we cannot hear you well. Sorry.
I don't know why.
Maybe we can start with. I can't remember the name of the person who had raised their hands. Charlotte, yes.
Thank you, Vinciane, and thank you very much, Céline. It's super inspiring, and I'm sure students must love it. My question is about after this change in storytelling, do you work as well on demarketing and degrowth in this course, or is it something you treat elsewhere in marketing?
Thanks, Charlotte. It's a very good.
I'm sorry, I have
question.
I have something to make you answer in only 1 minute, I believe. I'm sorry for this.
Sorry, Vincent, I missed the.
Sorry, I was just saying that sadly you only have 1 minute to answer this wide question.
So thanks. First of all, degrowth is really taboo. So I personally haven't really dared, develop a course on that, even though I'm thinking of it. It's of course it would be purposeful. I think what could be useful also would be to develop a business case, based on the project they develop. So we would deserve much more time. It's only, a course of 24 hours. So we try to focus on shifting their mind to the benefits of being inspired by nature. So we even don't go into the business models of their solutions because they do that in other courses. So we consider that, okay, we don't do it in this course. And then the degrowth would be also perhaps another course to develop. I agree.